Have you had a memorable meal? Have you seen a memorable film?
I don't know what they're doing out there. I don't know if it's just better ingredients or people who care more about food. You can't get a bad meal there. Best thing you've watched.
It was playing for maybe 30 seconds and I started crying.
I can promise you, if you're watching this on video, it tastes terrible.
When sometimes you can taste the molds, but you don't know where the mold is coming from.
The one show that I have been obsessed with and blew through the whole season of. Welcome to the table.
We're your hosts, Michelle and Laura.
This is where we talk movies, food, and the ways that they bring us together. Grab a seat. This episode starts now.
Michelle, we did it. We did our first sports season. I will admit we were a little ambitious. We thought we were going to get a couple more under our belt, but you know what? There are just so many good sports movies that we wanted to break it up, and we're going to do another season, another time. I think that we also really planned this season that we're coming off of. The perfect time, the Knicks won. We're in the middle of the World Cup. I think that we have a lot more sports moments in our future, which I'm very excited about. Michelle, what are you drinking tonight?
Yeah, so we're here for a check-in. We're here to make a couple announcements. We have some new things coming up. So Laura had the great suggestion that we should bring something a little bit more celebratory to this. I was trying to be like overly ambitious and creative in making this mocktail, which I can promise you, if you're watching this on video, it tastes terrible. It looks cute. I have this strawberry garnish. It's kind of a pink color. I did muddle some strawberries. Sorry. Let me break it down. I don't have a name for this, and I'm not going to name it because I don't want to ever make this again.
I think it should be called the strawberry disaster.
Perfect. That is exactly what it is. So I muddled a strawberry in the bottom of this, which is questionably, like, I've had these strawberries for over a week. Like, it may be moldy. I didn't see any mold on it, but like tomorrow it's the rest of them will be moldy.
When sometimes you can taste the molds, but you don't know where the mold is coming from.
God.
Does it ever happen where you're like, this is moldy,
No.
but there's no molds? So it must be like in the fruit.
Okay, so I have a possibly moldy strawberry that I muddled in the bottom, and then I topped it with some coconut water because it's summer, we have to hydrate.
Always.
And then I added a topper of club soda, just plain club soda. And then I added some sliced strawberries, and I took a sip and I said, this needs citrus. And a lime probably would have tied all of this together, but I didn't have one. So I used a lemon, and it just tastes like nothing.
I'm going to
drink it anyway.
I'm sad because I really am not a fan of coconut water, but I did recently see, might have been like New York Times Cooking, a cocktail recipe or suggestion of freezing coconut water as your ice cubes in drinks, which is very nice, extra hydrating. And I think that coconut water is very bland, but I think if it's used in the right way, it's probably really yummy. Well, I have one of your favorite drinks, and you're right about the can. The preparation is that I'm going to crack it open right now. So
I am
this was free.
So jealous right now.
This was a free drink because I stole it from mom and dad's fridge. It may be from last summer. We don't know. Undisclosed. But I was over there and I was like, I'm taking this. I don't know whose it is, but it's mine now. It's amazing.
So for the audience who is listening and not watching, Laura's drinking a Nantucket Blue. I believe that the Cisco Brewers are the ones who produce this. There are a few different flavors, but I think the one you're drinking, blueberry, is the best. And I love them so much. Like, we have many, many hard seltzers available to us now. I was in Target a couple weeks ago, and I was so overwhelmed by the volume of, not only now do we have hard seltzers, but now we have hard seltzers with protein in them, and we have energy drinks, and we have probiotic sodas. There's just so many, and each of them have all of the different varieties of it. But of everything, especially for the summer, the flavor and the brands that you're drinking right now is my number one pick. I'm extremely jealous. As far as I know, you can only get those
In
in
Massachusetts.
Massachusetts.
So it is, I thought it was Cisco too. It looks like it's Triple Eight Distillery, which is in Nantucket.
Okay, yeah, it's part of if you've ever been to Nantucket and you've been to Cisco Brewing, it's on the same property. So they're
Okay.
part of like the same family.
It is so good. The cranberry is also lovely.
The cranberry's great. Last year, I love these so much that I ordered them and shipped them to Florida, and I paid like, I don't know, $40 or something to have them shipped, but it was totally worth it
Yeah.
because they're the best. And this is not sponsored. In fact, I love them so much, I would sponsor them.
You tell him, Michelle. This was not supposed to be a very ad moment. I just wanted to get you pumped up for the summer.
I'm pumped.
And, like, for some reason, I feel like the last time I had it, I was like, "Oh, wasn't that great?" But right now, it's I don't know if it was because it's free from mom and dad's refrigerator. Maybe it's aged in the can, I don't know, but it is fabulous right now. So what we wanted to share tonight is that, we had teased this out on social, which I'm sure some people have seen. This was months ago at this point, but just trying to understand like what are some of your favorite TV episodes? The reason for that is because what we want to start doing is covering specific TV episodes. So instead of covering, let's say, all of season 1 of Friends, you would just submit any episode from any TV show in the history of a time, and Michelle and I will cover it if we end up selecting it. So we would love to hear from all of you. What are some of your favorite TV episodes? And or maybe there's an episode that you haven't seen before, but you like your friends always talk about it and you're like, okay, I want to watch this for the first time and then hear Michelle and Laura talk about it. I know that both of us have some in mind.
So for our TV dinners series, this is kind of like a pilot. We're going to try this out for the next couple months or so. We have a new easy way for you to submit ideas. So you can either click below this video or click below in the description of whatever podcast platform you're listening to. And when you get there, you'll see that not only is there a place for you to submit suggestions, ideas for our TV dinner episodes, but we will be returning to regular programming in the fall and beyond. So if you want to suggest ideas for upcoming fall movies, holiday movies, or just any general suggestions for things that you want us to do with the show, we always consider all of you to be here at our table with us while we're doing the show. So claim your seat and share your voice because we want to hear from you.
So Michelle, I feel like we haven't chatted in so long. I want to hear about some summer highlights so far. We both had a lot of exciting things happening, but what would be the episode? Like, what TV episode would you pick?
Well, all right. So there's, as you mentioned, I feel like there's been a lot going on in our lives, but there also feels like everything has been very exciting in the world lately. Like the World Cup is happening, like you said, the Knicks. And there's also been a couple I feel like our audience adjacent TV series that have come out off campus it's not every summer, every year after. But the one show that I have been obsessed with and blew through the whole season of, even though they were not all released at once. I stayed like week to week watching it, is Not Suitable for Work. Have you watched any?
No, but I saw, I think, 1 or 2 clips on social, and my first thought was like, this looks so funny, and I have to watch it.
Oh, I enjoyed it so much. It's Mindy Kaling produced, and I love really anything that she touches, I love. And it's about five people in their 20s who are living in New York City and just trying to navigate friendship, love, the workplace. And it has just such a great tone. It's really smart. Yeah, I'm very hopeful that they'll do a season two. And how about you, Laura? Best thing you've watched
Best thing
on
I've
TV
watched.
wise? We'll get into movies.
Okay. Well, we just started, so the new season of like the offshoot of Game of Thrones came back, and it's been great so far. We also, I wouldn't say it just started. It's only been like 2 episodes. We just watched the show Widow's Bay with Matthew Rhys. Really great. There were some my ding, I think, on a lot of series in the last couple years is like it feels like they really stretch out a lot of like they're trying to fill 10 episodes. I actually think this show did it really well where every episode was very individual and had its own storyline and it didn't feel forced. And he is just an absolute joy to watch. And it kind of had a mix of, almost like horror, but like comedy. Like it has so many different I don't know. I did like the tone is really great. Like I found myself laughing at some point parts, but actually being like terrified in other parts, which I think is really hard to pull off. And there's one episode in particular that I think has gotten a lot of attention that I would love to cover.
Oh,
That's
is it going to go in the idea jar?
maybe, yeah. I mean, again, it's not like my favorite show I've watched in a very long time. And I know we're supposed to be focusing on one, but I think of this year, I really enjoyed Beef season 2. So good. Talk about intelligent writing. So I'm just like, there's so many things. And then I don't know if I had to like pick an episode to start off with, I would need to go back in the archives and like look through every show ever that I've watched because there's probably so many. I know that I already have a line out the door of friends and family members who want to participate in the Summer I Turned Pretty. So that's going to be an interesting one. When you had said off campus and every year after, the first thing that came to mind was, do you mean not the Summer I Turned Pretty?
Yeah, they are kind of like
Yeah.
poser.
No, off campus was great. I'm so excited. We'll have to bring Sushma back on the
Yeah.
podcast for that one. But every year after, even though I did watch it, I think in 2 days, but it didn't quite do the same. So I'm excited about that we still have like there's so many good TV series and we have a lot of ground to cover.
Yeah, so many. And yeah, I'm also excited with the prospect of this idea jar. I mean, I guess we may have discussed the logistics of this earlier in the year, but I'm almost imagining, if you and three other people all suggest the Summer I Turned Pretty episode, all of those go in the jar. So it's not that we'll cover the same episode four times, but if you really want an episode covered, suggest it. We have no limits. And, there will just be more of a chance that that episode would get
Yes.
selected.
It's gonna be great.
I mean,
Ready. Let's just do it.
I
Let's do it right now.
let's just do it right now. I know.
We'll I've watched it. We'll talk in the background.
Laura, do you remember at the beginning of the year when you were visiting? And this is when we first conceived of this idea. And me, you, and Jimmy were sitting around our dinner table and just firing off, oh, but what about this episode or what about this show? And we were calling out what our favorite episodes from each show were. And that's what Film to Table is. That is my happy place of just sitting at the table with your loved ones and using TV and movies as springboards for
Mhm.
great conversation. So that
Yeah,
was a memorable meal for me.
it was a memorable meal. Shell, so far in your summer, have you had a memorable meal? Have you seen a memorable film?
Okay, so I am coming off of back to back trips. I was in Las Vegas. I came back home for a few days and then I went right back out to Los Angeles, which means I've eaten so many good meals in the last month. Unbelievable, especially California. I don't know what they're doing out there. I don't know if it's just better ingredients or people who care more about food. You can't get a bad meal there. Everything I ate there was fantastic. So, first I just want to like give props to California for their food scene. But with all that said, you would think that I would maybe reference one of the great meals, like fine dining experiences that I had there. But the meal that was most memorable to me, we were there for Jimmy had a work trip. So I had a couple of days during the week where I was just by myself and could do whatever I wanted. So I did spend some time in the parks, but this experience that I had was like a weekday lunch, and they have this little food hall in downtown Disney called Parkside Market, and they have a few different options. So I actually went there twice, but the meal that I want to talk about was just a bowl from this place called Soul Sister, like soul, like the place. And I got a chicken bowl. It was garlic chicken with carrots. I'm reading off the menu. Carrots, broccoli, green onion, soy sauce, and over rice. And the other cool thing, I mean, about this little food hall is there's only, I think, three little stands, and they have a like a downstairs seating area that looks very much like a cafeteria. But as I was standing there with my tray of food, I noticed there was this little sign next to the elevator that said, more seating upstairs. And I took the elevator upstairs and I had my little tray and I got up there. I'm like, there's no one up there, but there's this awesome bar. And beyond the bar were these doors that opened up to this essentially rooftop with these beautiful orange umbrellas. And I had the whole place to myself. So I sat up there with my Soul Sister bowl, completely polished it off. It was delicious. Enjoyed the sunshine. They had area music playing. So it all felt very cinematic. And I just kept thinking, like, why is it so hard for other parts of the country to have a healthy and delicious meal that isn't like where you need waiter service and for it to be like, $300 and you have to go, like cocktails to dessert. Like sometimes you just need a quick meal, but why can't a quick meal also be really good?
Yeah. And to have a great atmosphere. Because atmosphere, I think, impacts food, in my opinion. And it literally will taste better if you like the environment around you.
All right.
Great.
Well, what's your food moment that you want to share?
Man, I haven't been cooking as much lately just because I've been getting home from work late, and Dom usually has a nice hot meal ready for me, which is very comforting. But I have to give a shout out to my father-in-law because we went down there for the day before 4th of July, and he just whipped up. I love me some clams. He whipped up some great, just simple clams in like a white wine, butter sauce, but he made like a broth underneath it. So it wasn't like just the juice. It really was like this broth that I wanted to drink, even though it was like 1,000 degrees outside. And it was one of those dinners where I love like cooking it with him in his kitchen, like where I made like a little salad and he was doing his thing. We were listening to music. And then it was one of those dinners where it was just Dom, myself, my in laws, and we were at the table like all night just talking. And it was my in law's anniversary. So he got this cake from Wegmans, and it was like a banana cream pie cake, but instead of like a cake filling, it was banana bread. It was banana bread as the cake. And it was like a heart attack, but it was one of the most amazing things I've ever had. I was actually thinking about you, Michelle, because at Michelle's grocery store at her Whole Foods in Florida, there's specifically this tres leches cake, which is think about a cake just completely soaked in milk, and it's one of those cakes where you need like a nap after you have half a bite. But every time I go down there, I get it because I can't find it in other Whole Foods locations. And I think this is another one of those situations where I've never seen this cake in another Wegmans. So the the Wegmans by their house must be serving up this special banana bread cake. But it was just such a sweet meal, and it was just a great like summer night. So I love my in-laws.
Oh, what a perfect meal. I feel like it had all the right ingredients. It had the company, it had a very simple main, but prepared really well and prepared with love. And the fact that you were like in the kitchen beforehand, and then a unique dessert.
It's great. And I also just thought it was so sweet that Rich got Christina a cake for their anniversary. It's like, more men have to take notes. I mean, who doesn't want a cake? And I thought it was also sweet. They like they went to the beach the day before and they like got each other beach snacks. Like they picked each other out what their beach snacks were. And
Okay, a couple goals.
yeah, absolute couple goals. So, okay, since it wasn't related to your meal, Michelle, what's a movie moment that you've had?
Okay, the movie moment that I selected, I have chosen because I have not been able to stop thinking about it. And it's a movie that I had seen before, which is odd, but I watched this on the flight out to Las Vegas. And I thought that the timing was perfect because it was kind of like mid June. So it felt like end of the school year, at least where we grew up, it's end of the school year. And it was American Graffiti, which
Never seen that.
okay. I really want to obviously because I haven't been able to stop thinking about it. I would love to cover it on the podcast. It is, not, the best movie ever made, but there are some really interesting things about it, especially when it comes to the way that music is used in the film. Laura and I love a contained story. So this is essentially a story about the summer in between when a bunch of kids are graduating and before they're going off to the next stage of life, whether that's college or they're going to stay in their hometown. And it's just about a bunch of kids driving around on one night. It was a film that George Lucas made. And I didn't realize this till afterwards, but the movie made so much money that it is kind of widely known as the movie that got Star Wars made. And that kind of like set the trajectory of George Lucas becoming George Lucas. So even though it's a movie that's really not like Star Wars at all, I think it's a really important movie for movie history. So that's my pitch. I would love to cover it at some point, maybe next summer.
You sold me. Maybe we did a Spielberg season. Lucas, you're next.
Yeah, Summer of Lucas or
Summer
Lucas. I don't
Lucas,
know. I
and
don't know what
he's actually
season would
just
be a good
doing
Lucas
a
season.
podcast, and he's gonna do I mean, there's millions of Star Wars fans. We would have 0 issues filling in guests. I must have seen the film schedule for the movie theater that we go to a couple weeks ago, but I was like, "Okay, I have a free night. I'm gonna go to the movies, gonna get my popcorn for dinner, my soda for dinner," You know how I roll, Michelle. We still don't have Coca-Cola. That's another thing to I'm gonna just
We're still working on.
yeah. But there is a documentary that just came out about Mary Oliver, the poet, and I won't say too much about it because I don't wanna give too much away. I would love for whomever loves poetry or doesn't love poetry, people who love nature, people who love just appreciate life and appreciate art to go see this movie or stream it, however you can get it. It was playing for maybe 30 seconds and I started crying because one of the openings was Stephen Colbert starting to recite one of her most well known excerpts, and it's about summer. And he says that he reads it to his kids every year when summer starts. Just a really, really sweet poem, but it just talks about her and kind of her life and her legacy and how much she's like impacted people. But I really didn't know much about her before. I recently got a book, a collection of a lot of her poems, maybe a couple months ago in a bookstore a couple towns over from where we live. And I'm very inconsistent with my morning routine, but sometimes I'll read one of her poems, and I just felt very, like, connected to her appreciating nature and, like, observing, and as I do poetry and, just as a fun creative outlet, I was like, "Damn," like, I feel like I see what she sees when she's out in nature. It was really beautiful, and it was, like, a nice again because 'cause we're going to Cape Cod coming up. She lived in Cape Cod for like 40 years. She lived in Provincetown. So
I did not know this,
maybe it wasn't 40 years, but like most of
but
life
I
with her partner. And a lot of her poems are just her out in nature and Cape Cod and observing. So highly recommend seeing this documentary. And if not this documentary, just reading one of her poems because she is one of a kind.
I feel like I just learned so much. Great suggestion, Laura.
Well, we have quite the exciting second half of the year coming up. We have some fun. We're going to do a little bit of a hiatus on movies for a bit, but we will be back with some shorter form TV episodes. So again, if you have anything in mind that you want us to cover, make sure you reach out to us. We'll throw it in the TV dinner idea jar. And if not, Michelle and I will just come up with some on our own. We'll put our
I had
heads.
many. This jar is
It's
gonna be
brimming.
brimming. Yeah.
It's brimming already. But you guys want to really get into the TV dinner spirit? Maybe order your next TV dinner TV stand on Amazon.
Get,
and then the
get
next
those trays ready.
those trays ready. It's gonna be great.
We'll see you then.
See then? You don't have to pour your salt. It just reminded
Better.
me of Elf too, where he's like, "Buddy, you don't have to drink that."
I truly do think it's gotten better, though. I think that
The mold
it
is
got this
the mold is floated to the top at this point.